Johnny Rock Show. Rockin' 101, the Rock Station.
Rockin' 101, 940, the Johnny Rock Show. Brian Johnson, where are you calling from, can I ask?
Hey, Johnny, I'm calling from sunny Florida, actually, in Sarasota, Florida.
Oh, well, you should be
That's
here.
where you probably come for your vacation for the heat.
Oh, I tell you what, you should be here in St. Cloud, Minnesota. It's 10 degrees, and we got 5 inches of snow. But, you know, we can't all live like rock stars, I tell you what. Hey, it's an honor to have you on The Lives of Brian. Brian Johnson, the AC/DC lead singer. His new book, is it would you call it a memoir? Is it sort of everything that's happened to you throughout your existence?
Yeah, I don't know what, I don't want it, but it was just, like I just started writing, Johnny, because I wrote it by hand. And with all the people that were around me at the time, my old friends, first musicians, my first band, guys that were in the Airborne with me, guys at school, then, later on, in the Geordie, we had a few hits in England, and then a couple of years later, we were broke and were split up, and I was looking in the job section of the newspaper to look for a job. And then started another band. So there was lots and lots of different, episodes to get to the point of being an AC/DC. Because I realized a lot of people out there would have been thinking, when I got the job and all that, and people began, well, who the hell's he? He's 32-year-old. That's pretty old for a guy, And so I wanted to put that right and just say, hey, listen, I didn't just turn up. There was a lot of stuff before that. And to try to relive those days doing Back in Black, I think it's the most asked question that people, did you think it was going to be that big or ever? And of course, no, it didn't. It was just the way it happened. And
well, that goes, there goes my next question. No. Listen.
Oh, what a runner.
I remember I was a senior in high school, and I saw that tour at the Met Center in Bloomington, Minnesota. It started with Hell's Bells. The big bell came down, right?
That's right, and I had a real big sledgehammer then. And then that went when the health and safety people said, you can't have that bell, it's too heavy. Which was a pain in the ass. So, you can't hit it either because it's dangerous. And so there was all that kind of nonsense going on. But I remember that first tour, and the first gig we did was in a place called Namur in Belgium. And of course, the album hadn't come out yet. And we were doing the songs from the new album, Back in Black, and which is, a bit dangerous when people don't know the songs. And but it didn't matter. They started joining in the choruses. It was fantastic. And that first tour was the very first time I'd ever been to America. And I'll never forget, it was just the most fantastic time of my life, meeting them. Americans were just the friendliest, people I think I'd ever met. And I enjoyed it, everything. And it's such a large country. It took, I think, about 3 or 4 months just to get across doing all this. Because we didn't do big stadiums then, Johnny. We just did small 2,000, 3,000 seaters, and but it was a good apprenticeship for me,
Oh yeah, I was just looking through some old clippings from AC/DC back in the day. The record companies in America didn't know what to do with them. They were saying new punk rock, AC/DC. I'm like, punk rock? Well, whatever worked, right?
Yeah, they didn't. I mean, even the Rolling Stone said, we've got to send these people back to Australia. This was before I joined, They were real nasty, and, but it was out and out rock and roll. There wasn't any, there wasn't any, clothes to fit the music, like the New Romantics or whatever the hell it was. It was jeans and T-shirt, and you got Angus with his schoolboy suit on. But boy, oh boy, when they hit the stage, things changed in America, and they suddenly realized that, they had something on their hands. And then, of course, the tragedy of Bon passing away, so... It was a tough time for the boys, I think. If you can imagine, like when I went down for the audition, when they asked me to come down and all that, that was through Bon, because I'd played with Bon in 1973 when he was in an Australian band called Fang, and we were in Torquay, and they were supporting my band, Geordie, and I didn't know who he was. We just hit it off. And we had a few beers together, and I never saw him again in my life. But he had gone back and said to the boys, hey, listen, I've seen a rock singer over there in a small band, and he's the only one I saw worth his salt. So really, it was Bon who helped me get that. And and I still give me kind of goosebumps when I think about it. But... when I went in to do that audition, it must have been awful for the boys. Every time somebody came in through the door for an audition, it was another reminder that Bon wasn't going to be one of them coming in. It was another reminder that Bon had gone.
Sure.
And... I remember Malcolm running over to me and saying, here, there's a Newcastle Brown Ale for you. That's your beer, isn't it? I said, oh, yeah, thank you. And he said, what do you want to sing? And I said, Nutbush City Limits, Tina Turner.
Nice.
He went, what?
Yeah.
He said, hang on then. And the boys started playing. And I realized straight away these guys were in a different class from just about anything I'd heard in my life. And we started singing, and at the end of it, there was complete silence, just lots of eye movement between the boys and me. And I said, are you got any more of that beer? And I had another one, and then we said, do you know any other ones? And I said, yep, Call It a Rosie. Should we do that? And we did that. And I can't quite describe the feeling in the room, but it's certainly electric. There was certainly something stirring in there, and I guess that's when it all happened, But then 2.5 weeks later, I was on my way to the Bahamas. And the rest is history, really, except when Malcolm came up and said, can you write lyrics? And I went, what? I said, well, I'll give it a shot. And that was it. I got a legal pad and a little cassette player, and he said, right, off you go. And that was it.
Man. 9 lives, cat's eyes, abusing every one of them and running wild. Well, you can write them, baby. Listen, this has been a real pleasure. Real pleasure, sir. Brian Johnson, AC/DC. From a senior in high school, seeing you at the Met Center to being on the radio show, welcome back anytime. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to play out with some Tina Turner, Nat Bush City Limits. What do you think of them apples? There you go. Brian, thank you from the Johnny Rock Show, okay? Well, hello? Oh, there he goes. Well, here's what he got the job with. I don't have his version, but I got Tina. Come on, you Burner Turner.
A church house in house.
Come on, girl.
Schoolhouse out house.
You do it.
On highway number 19. The people keep the city clean.
What do they call it?
They call it Nut Bush.
Yeah, baby.
Oh, Nut Bush.
Oh, come on now.
Call it Nut Bush City.
Yeah.
Nut Bush.
All right. Brian Johnson, what a pleasure. What a pleasure. And what a gentleman. I was asked not to bring up Axl Rose. Well, Axl Rose is not rejoining AC/DC anytime soon, as far as I know. Thank you again, Brian Johnson of AC/DC. I'm exhausted. Exhausted.
By clock on the wall. Then it's time to bid you one and all. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Brian.
So long. So long.
Bush City Limits.
Farewell. That's it.
That'd be good.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Oy vey.
Take care.
Uh-huh.
Adieu, mon vieux. Au revoir, prochain. Goodbye until we meet again.
Thanks again, AC/DC's Brian Johnson. We love you, manana.
The Johnny Rock Show. Rockin' 101.